I
Sure.
remember some fighters that they were getting paid a certain amount to fight, and they'd already figured out what they were going to spend almost their entire purse on.
What?
Like,
Like what?
well, I mean, anything from a fighter getting paid £1,000 and spending 950 on a watch, to to someone getting paid 30,000 and wanting an anti-gravity chair in their house. You know what I mean? Like I've gone through every range. I had one friend that decided after this next fight he was going to get really big into road cycling, so he spent like 8 grand on like this fucking carbon fiber fucking cycle the bike for yourself. It was like all singing, all dancing, top of the range, the kind of thing that would make like professional cyclists like jealous of what you're riding on. You did it for like 2 weeks and then end up selling the whole lot. You know what I mean? It is weird. It's like, and I think it's something that I noticed with a lot of fighters. I never got into it because all I do is spend money on Lego, so it's a bit more manageable. But like you see fighters, they kind of build up to this point where they get a big chunk of cash, and then it's like they're on this wave and they ride this wave until there's no cash, and then they try and catch the next wave to the next load of cash. Like instead of getting that regular monthly wage where you know your amount coming in and you kind of manage it, as and when what you need. These big chunks of cash coming in, they kind of give people this illusion that they've got a lot more money than they have. It's like when you look at these websites that are like net worth of celebrities,
Mate,
it's ridiculous. Like I can't imagine there's a single person on there that mystery's left. That makes me feel very suspicious of him.
Maybe his laptop died.
Oh, that would be something.
maybe he's googling how much his net worth is.
Yeah, for sure.
4 mil.
In big,
He's mil.
yeah, it's yeah.
It's always
It's
so.
It gets you in bad habits, I think, getting paid like the fighters do sometimes. Not for everybody, of course, but for some fighters, for sure.
Do you think it would be better if fighters were, say you got a contract with UFC, that it was like a monthly, like a salary then? Do you think that could work or not?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't. I think it'd be interesting if there was an option to do something like that. I think some people are always going to want the freedom to grab their cash and leave. And I think as a fighter, I mean, it's prize fighting, and I think maintaining the ability to fight for a handful of cash is it's something that's quite traditional to the sport. But the idea of somehow protecting some money, that, to be honest, that's what a good manager should do. And I could probably count the amount of good managers on one hand in the sport of MMA, unfortunately. But a good manager should be looking at the long-term plans of a fighter and what they can be doing afterwards, putting things in place for them, for the benefit of everybody. Of course, they're going to continue making money out of it, but to like look after a fighter's finances is part of what management is. And I don't think there are many people in the sport that get good financial advice from their management teams. That's why people buy stupid shit.
Sorry, dude. Do you reckon a lot of that's changed since, like, concert? What happened, dude?
It just shut down.
Of course it did.
It did.
How many porn windows you got open?
I can screen share, no.
No, that's on his phone. On his tablet. Do you think that a lot of the management responsibility went when the banners went? When all the because you look at someone now like Cowboy, he's still sponsored by Budweiser, so he maintains that sponsorship himself. But was there a lot more opportunity before to get extra money and sponsorships from people? Because if you were, let's say you were Zions, let's use Zions for example. Not only were you using them on your banner and on your walkout, but you had your own drink, didn't you? You had a drinks can, and like. The thing is, because you're always associated, it was justified. Like, yeah, well, he's still our athlete. He's still fighting. Whereas if Zions is no longer allowed in the UFC, and every time you're on a embedded or a documentary or a build-up, then that's blurred out. Does that sort of take away from the sales, do you think? And do you think then they stop looking at wanting to, like, people stop offering, or what they were offering was less? You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, there were a couple of things that shifted it. One was when there was like a fee that sponsors had to pay to the UFC and then there were a lot of brands that kind of fell off. I mean, the thing with that is that kind of sorted the legit brands from the Wild West ones, because there were a lot of brands back in the day when anybody could sponsor you, and people were doing deals fight week of what was going to go on their shorts.
Yeah.
The amount of times, and this is no joke, the amount of times I've stitched a patch on my own shorts, like a couple of days before the event, because this sponsor came through. So then someone had, either you or Wad or whatever would get a logo printed off on a bit of fabric and send it to me, and I'd stitch up my shorts. Like that happened a bunch of times, and same with banners and stuff as well. Like there was always the opportunity to stick your mate's plastering company on the banner, and he'll give you 500 quid next time he sees you. There was a lot of that kind of stuff going on. It was a lot more Wild West. There was a lot more, there was easy cash to be made. A lot of fighters were doubling their purses, at least by what they were making on the banner. Like I remember making good money on my banner a few times, but then obviously that there were a lot of things that changed it. In the long run, positives and negatives. To be honest, I like the individuality of the fighters. I like that T-shirt you're wearing. It's got what Rev Gear, Sprawl, and Zions on it. They were my sponsors for that fight, and I wore Rev Gear gloves and Sprawl shorts, and I didn't drink Zion's energy drinks, but I used their protein supplements and stuff. So it was kind of like that. That was kind of part of my team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like people that sponsored you were investing in you. And I mean, the thing is, fighters can be creative. There's still ways of utilizing the notoriety they've got. People make a lot of money on 100,000 followers on Instagram these days.
Yeah.
But again, that's where management comes in. The fighter's the one that does the actual hard work, and there should be a team around these people that help them kind of grow their assets, as it were.
Yeah. I always just like the uniqueness. So like you'd see a fighter come out. Ben Henderson always had good walkout shirts. Was he dethroned? I think he was dethroned.
Yeah.
And he had one that looked like a rum bottle, one that looked like a tequila bottle, I think. But he always had some cool stuff. But it was the uniqueness of the shorts. Like, were they going to wear Valet Tudo shorts? Were they going to wear board shorts? Are they going to have like board shorts but cut off to make them more into tie shorts? Do you know, there was a uniqueness about what everyone was wearing and how they almost made it like an experience of coming down to the cage. And that for me was why I got into certain fighters. Because it's like filthy Tom Lawler. Tom Lawler at the time was in a roster of fighters that was super exciting, massive finishes. That the time that he was in there was a lot of other people to be watching. No disrespect to him, he was a great fighter. But the thing that got your eyes on him was when he was doing the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
And he was coming dressed as Hulk Hogan. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, who the fuck is this guy? And it was brilliant. That's what you want to see. That unique, the personality. Whereas it just feels now, I don't know, like I've got nothing against Reebok, other than I didn't think Reebok was cool from when I was about 11, because it was like, for me at our school, it was you were Nike or you were Adidas. That's it. Like no one was fighting over Reebok. And that's, again, no disrespect to them. Their shit's good. I've got a load of their shit. But it was Nike or it was Adidas. And I think a few of them type of things, when that's cemented into you as a kid, it's just carried through. It's not something that ever changes. So it sort of always, it just kicked me in the balls a bit. Because, and not only that, fundamentally, I'm a designer. And when I see what they wear, I don't particularly consider it's been designed, because, and that's not a dig at the designer there. It's just what they've got to do. They've got to bring out a template which will fit someone's name that is Penn, like BJ Penn, which is this big, or you've got to fit someone's name.
Otteropoulos.
Yeah, George. Do you know what I mean? George Striopoulos or whatever his fucking name was.
Striopoulos.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean, though? So, like, you're so restricted when it comes to actually what it's going to look like that it's so plain.
Yeah.
And that covers them as well for if it's fight day and if someone's a last minute replacement, they can still quickly print them a fucking t-shirt on a black, red, and blue base. That they're like, yeah, there you go, off you go, out you walk. So it's kind of weird, but I don't miss getting. I used to get logos sent through at like 3 a.m. Can you put this on? And like, bear in mind, everything's on, and I have to rearrange everything because as you go around the banner, it's like, this is priority, and then as it comes down, this gets lower and lower, and then you get given a logo that is an awkward shape that you then have to get fit into like priority number 2 to push all the other shit out the way. Yeah, it was. There's a lot more that went into it than it ever seemed. But
yeah. I appreciate the fact that I was fighting at the phase before, because I always like the process of deciding. I mean, it sounds stupid, deciding what I was wearing. You know what I mean? Like, because I always like. I mean, I always wore anklets because I always, for some reason, I always sweat a lot, and the canvas on a lot of those old cages was the plastic. So if you had sweat running down your legs and that was starting to hit the canvas, it started to get quite slippy in there. But it's not too bad in the UFC because it's a different type of canvas. But I always used to like anklets for the simple fact of doing what they're supposed to do. And
yeah,
get more grip when I'm moving. And then when it came to the shorts, I used to like to choose what I was wearing. When I was fighting Thai boxing, I used to wear like hot pink Thai boxing shorts, and I used to bleach my hair. You know what I mean? Like there was different things I would do, and I'd enjoy that process. And I think some of that individuality has been lost now. One thing that would be positive is if they kind of open the sponsorship back up a little bit, then bigger brands will see that, you know, where Reebok has had success, then there's other potential for a massive wasp was just flown into the room.
a massive.
A massive wasp. It's all right. It'll find its way out. Yeah, you know what I mean. I like the freedom of choosing what I was wearing, and same thing with like the walkout shirts and stuff. I had a dethrone one, I had a tap out one, I had a bunch of different ones that you made. What else did I have? Loads. You know,
Also,
I still pop up from time to time.
I
yeah,
think it's the fans as well, because you see, like you said, the personality comes through more, like depending on what they're wearing, and like it makes a bit more of a character, I guess. The fans get to see. Huh?
Sounds like someone's in the jungle.
Yeah, what is that?
is that me? Hold on, I'll mute mine and see if it's me.
Yeah, sure.
How though?
It's gone.
Oh, it's gone now. It did sound like you were in the rainforest, though.
I thought that. I thought it was Mystery. I thought Mystery was breathing on his microphone, but I didn't want to say anything.
My hands have been up here the whole time.
Yeah, keep your hands. You can see in this tree.